Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode. In the last episode, we defeated the gym leader turnip. And now, it's time for our remaining classes. So this is probably going to take an hour, so let's get through our final classes and our finals. Hello, I hope everyone's ready to learn some new things today. Next time we meet, we'll have our final exam. That means today is our last actual class. And the topic for this last class will be Pokémon forms. You can just think of forms as shapes or appearances that Pokémon have. There are also a phenomenon called a form change, when a Pokémon's appearance changes under certain conditions. Psychosar, for example, which we regularly ride on as transportation here in Paldea, has three forms. First is the basic form, where it walks on all four legs. Second is the battle form, where it stands on its hind legs to engage in battle. Finally, there is its ride form, where it inflates its throat sac and its tail so we can ride on its back. Though we can use something you call carrying with you now as an even better example. Yep, I'm talking about your phones. Some smartphones are inhabited by a certain Pokemon. Does anyone know what Pokemon I'm referring to? Rotom, Pikachu, Heracross. Rotom. You are a regular expert on Pokemon and technology, aren't you, Feridion? The Pokemon inside your smartphone is Rotom, and it does all sorts of things to help you out. A Rotom inside a Rotom phone is special, so it doesn't try to enter other electronics. And an ordinary Rotom, however, can change forms by entering washing machines, microwave ovens, and other electronic devices. Rotom is a bit of an exception, though. Many Pokemon that change forms do so simply by holding an item or by using one on them. Oricorio, for example, has 4 different forms it can change between when given certain nectars. The Pokemon may even change type or learn different moves when they change form. Changes from different from evolution, in that the Pokemon can return to its original form. Unlike shiny Pokemon, which cannot change their special coloration, the same individual Pokemon cannot go back and forth between its forms. Can go back and forth between its forms, my bad. There is a lot to dig into with this change phenomenon, as you can see. We can learn something from Pokemon here, don't you think? A bit of a stretch, but I do be happy to see you all enjoy your time at the Academy to the fullest, and change form into a new version of yourselves. Or something like that, anyway. Oh, and I almost forgot! Regional forms, which are very based on the region of a Pokemon came from, don't change like other forms. They are innate. Whoops! There's the bell. Guess I was scatterbrained, Mr. Jock, right up to the very end, huh? I had a great time teaching you all. I hope you all do your best on the final exam. Let's do biology final. Hello everyone, today is our final exam. It will cover everything I've taught you so far, but I'm sure you will do just fine. Take your time and contemplate each question carefully. How many of the following 4 methods make it easy to capture Pokemon? Let's see, inflicting paralysis, using a toy, feeding it a berry, surprising it from behind. The first answer is 2. True or false? You can get new Pokemon only by catching them yourself or trading with other trainers. That is false. If a Pokemon is holding an Everstone, will it use an item that includes evolution, such as a Fire Stone cause it to evolve? No, it will not. What is the probability of running into a shiny Pokemon? 1 in 2,000, 1 in 4,000, 1 in 6,000. It is 1 in 4,000. True or false? Pokemon known as Oricorio has 3 forms. That is false. It has 4. This question won't affect your grade. Do you have anything you would like to say about my class? I'm still getting used to this teaching thing, but I sure had fun as your teacher. Thank you for being our teacher. Okay, time's up. Whatever you like it or not. I hope everyone enjoyed taking those questions. I snuck in a little bonus question there right at the end again. Shh! Our little secret. Don't tell the director. I'll grade these right away. I hope you're all looking forward to seeing how you did. Alright. Let's see our results. What do you mean I got 4 out of 5 correctly? Screw you, I got 5 out of 5 correctly. What question is like, oh, you got it wrong? I got every question right. Screw you, game. Missed time. Hello everyone, I hope we can have fun once again today for our final class together. Last time we learned about probability using the move accuracy as an example. Probability is quite an interesting subject, did you know that? In a class with 40 students, there is a 90% chance that 2 of them will have the same birthday. This is true even despite the fact that there are over 300 days each year. Isn't that remarkable? But let's move on to today's topic before we get swept up along with probability again. I've been teaching you all how to calculate damage in this class using examples like type matchups, critical hits, stat boosts, and the like. All these variables are multiplied together to calculate damage dealt to an opponent. However, did you know that there is an even simpler way to increase the damage of your Pokemon moves? All you have to do is have your Pokemon use a move it shares its type with. If a Rock-type Pokemon uses the Rock-type move, Stone Edge, the boost power, our base power of 100 is multiplied by 1.5 and becomes 150. Ground and Rock-type may seem like similar types, but if a Ground-type Pokemon uses Stone Edge, the move's power will remain at 100. Super effective moves and critical hits also add multipliers on this little numerical increase. So it is most certainly a must not be taken lightly. Let me ask you a question, see if you understand what I'm talking about here. Say, you have a move with a power of 100. If a Pokemon that shares a type with this move uses it and hits the opponent that is weak to that type, what happens to the move's power? The move's power becomes 300. If this thing is telling me correctly. Because yeah, I read all my notes of the previous question and it's like, nope, you got one question wrong, screw you. You did that calculation all in your head? Well done, Viridion. First, using a move that shares the type with its user multiplies the move's base power of 100 by 1.5, making the power 150. The fact that the opponent is weak to the move's type doubles that power from 150 to 300. The original power of the move ends up being tripled. Isn't that amazing? What more? If a Pokemon terrestrialized and its Terra type matches the one of its original types, then the bonus it gets for using a move of that same type is increased from 1.5 to 2. Of course, being able to use a lot of moves with different types is great and all, as well. That's one way you can surprise your opponent. In the end, your own innate characteristics are what will really let you shine the most. Bear in mind that this is true for both humans and Pokemon. It sure would make me happy if you could take those words to heart. But I suppose I should really have shared this basic advice right from our first lesson. My apologies. And just like that, class is over. The last of our time together flew by in a blink of an eye. It was so much fun to be able to teach you all eager students about numbers. Next class will be our final exam. Be sure to review the material in preparation. Let's take on our math final. Alright everyone, it's time to begin our final exam. I'm sure the fun experiences you all had in my class will serve you well as your answer. How many Great Balls can you purchase with 300 Pokédollars if each one costs us 600? We can get 5 Great Balls. If a Water-type move with 100 power lands a critical hit on a Grass-type Pokemon, what will the power be? That would be about 75. Under normal conditions, what percentage chance does Stone Edge have to land a critical hit? That would be about a 12%. If a Pokemon uses Swords Dance twice to boost its attack by 4 stages, how much damage will the physical moves do then? They will do triple damage. If a Rock-type Pokemon on whose Terra-type is Rock terrestrializes, what will the power of its Rock-type move be multiplied by? It will be multiplied by 2. Alright everyone, time is up. Put your hands on your laps now. This test was the accumulation of all I taught you, and I'm sure you all did just fine. Do go ask for your scores at the front desk, and then take a nice break. Feels great to get a test, so let's see our scores. 5 out of 5. We want to do history. Greetings, my little students. Whatever you did yesterday is now part of history. Today is our last class, so I would like to unravel the marvels that history has presented to us one last time. In our last class, I taught you about the Area Zero expedition of 200 years ago, correct? Alas, 200 years is not that long ago. Not that long ago at all. How unfortunate that our history lessons must match so inseparably towards the future. Would it not be more of an adventure to march towards the past instead? To start from our present and study history in reverse? I think it would. So you agree with me, do you, Feridion? However, I'm afraid I'm risking and incurring the wrath of our dear director if I stray from the curriculum. I suppose I have no choice but to let the flow of time carry us towards the future. In this last class of ours, shall fill your minds with the history of the terrestrial phenomenon. The technology behind the Terra Orbs has its origins in Area Zero. Even after Area Zero expeditions supposedly reached the crater's deepest depths, others continued to explore that area. And about 140 years ago, Pokemon Cloak and a mysterious light were discovered there. As you may have already guessed, they were, in fact, terrestrialized Pokemon. However, when those who discovered these Pokemon brought them out of Area Zero, the light faded and the terrestrial phenomenon remained a mystery for quite some time. However, 10 years ago, that might as well be present day, a certain someone you have definitely heard of had unraveled this mystery. Perfect timing to make eye contact, young Feridion. Answer me this. What is the name of the famous professor who unraveled the terrestrial phenomenon mystery? Heath Sadhana Clairvaux. It is always going to be your Ames professor. So in this case, Sadhana. Correct. To think that you, a new transfer to our academy, could correctly guess this answer. You must be very diligent in your studies. Approximately 10 years ago, a professor named Sadhana unraveled the mysteries of the terrestrial phenomenon. She discovered that the shining crystal down in Area Zero, or rather the energy they emit, is what causes Pokemon to terrestrialize. This led the professor to invent the Terra Orb technology and develop a partial use for it. This technology was then shared with both the Pokemon League and our academy. Rumors has it that Director Clairvaux was one of the researchers on the professor's team. Alas, this story is much less exciting now that someone we all know appears in it. Modern history is truly dull, isn't it? Thus ends my history classes. Our next session will be our final exam. Bring the wonders of history to the forefront of your minds in preparation. So let's take on the finals. Greetings, my little students. It is time for our final examination. Summon your historical knowledge from the dark recesses of your mind and answer the questions. What is the area within the great crater Paldea called? The core area, Area 0. The crater area, Area 0. How many years ago was the Academy founded? It was founded 805 years ago. Which of these did not appear in the Paldean fairy tale about the 4 treasures? What didn't appear was a folding fan. Which area expedition member wrote the record of the team's activities? That would be Thief. That would be Heath. How many years ago did Professor Sana invent terror orbs? That would be 10 years. Your time is up. Putting your writing utensils down. You must excuse that last question. It is too shallow and ridiculous to be on a history test. But alas, the director forced me to include it. So ends our final examination. You may ask for your scores at the school's front desk. Let's see our results. Miss Ruffant, so we get our candies. So now, time for language. My dear friends, how are you all today? It is time for the last of Salvador's language lessons. O vivo pets, are you ready? Oi! What a response, fantasticu! Great answer. That it is. Perfect for our last class together. I love it. And Andu Hadu. Today we will once again be having a listening lesson. Yes, I go for it, my assistant Pikachu. Let's get right to it, my little Pikachu friend. For our last listening class, tell everyone how you are feeling right now. See Tilipperpet. Ooh, can you feel that? That's one contagious emotion in Pikachu's voice. What emotion do you suppose Pikachu was trying to convey just now? Happiness, pain, surprise. Happiness. Well done, Viridion! I am so happy that you got it right! Ha 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 ha! Get it? When Pikachu says, it's expressing happiness, doesn't it make you just want to break out into a happy dance? But I didn't have to ask Pikachu to put on an act today. Oh no! I simply asked it to show you all how it felt about getting to have class with you. Getting to meet so many new friends and study together in this class with you. It made me both happy and my little Pikachu so very happy. And now, all proves of nothing. Let me give you all one last wise word of advice. As you live your lives, I'm sure you will have times where you get mad or sad. Maybe even more than you would like. Everything has its ups and downs. Life is a variable roller coaster. But laughing in the end, that is, there is surely happiness waiting for you. So gaze lucidly, keep a smile on your face, even the hardest of times. When you are faced with a problem that you cannot handle alone, find someone to rely on. It could be a teacher, your friends, or anyone. Let our pro change occur. Next lesson will be our final exam. Be sure to review what we've learned in all our lessons so far. Adios, Meridachi! Let's take on language finals. Adu! Today we take our final exam. Relax, that is, and do your best. Les vous pets. Are you ready? Let's begin. Which of the following means delicious? That would be delicious. What do these two foreign phrases mean? La Gemini Lisbore de Brech. I love you. Based on what you just heard, what emotion do you think Pikachu was expressing? It was expressing anger. Based on what you just heard, it is expressing happiness. What is the name of your beloved teacher? Amador, Lavador, Isidore, Saboteur. Livifin, time is up. Pose vos stylos. Put your pens down, that is. I assume the obligatory question, the last question, that is, gave you no trouble? I'm sure you all did great. Bravo, my friends. You can get your scores at the school's front desk. So let's look at our results. Alright, now time for our battle studies. Oosh! This is our last class, but don't let those energy levels drop just before we wrap things up. You've shown that you have more than enough knowledge to be super strong battlers. I don't know that I have much left to teach you. But we can always aim for even greater heights. So today, I'm going to teach you about the rules of link battles. When two trainers participate in link battles together, they can engage in either single battles or double battles with each other. And if you're playing in a group of 4, you can all battle each other in a multi-battles. Now, when you are having battles during your independent studies, you can use whatever number of Pokemon you like, and they could be of any level. But in link battles, there are special rules to keep in mind. Some of these special rules involve adjusting Pokemon's levels. Now, the no restrictions rule is sets all Pokemon to stay at their current levels. It lets trainers use multiple Pokemon at the same species and multiple of the same held item too. But if you choose to use normal rules, all Pokemon will be set to level 50 for your battles, regardless of what level they actually are. Even including lower level Pokemon, they will get a power boost to participate. Normal rules let you use multiple of the same Pokemon species and the same hell items too. The greater part of this rule set is to let any of your Pokemon to participate. All they have to do is learn some good moves. Lastly, the rule set called flat rules mostly affects Pokemon over level 50, such as Pokemon will be set to level 50 for the duration of the battle. Flat rules the flat rule set is the one often used for official Pokemon tournaments in real life. This rule does not allow trainers to use multiple Pokemon of the same species or multiple of the same held item. Alright, I have a question for you. Which rule set should you pick if you want to use a lower level Pokemon and keep it at low level? You want to use flat rules. That's the one, new kid. Looks like you were listening to the lesson. If you got some clever strategy that you need to use a level 5 Pokemon for, your best bet is to choose the flat rules rule set. Of course, you can also choose no restrictions if you want to battle with any Pokemon you want, at any level with any hell item. That's a pretty good rule set when you want to battle freely with friends. In conclusion, normal rules adjust all Pokemon to level 50. Flat rules let you use lower level Pokemon at their actual levels. I hope you all use these tips to have an exciting battles with your friends. Oh man, and just when I was about to suggest doing some hands-on practice to really drive the point home, but I guess we're truly out of time. Next class will be our final exam. Aim for a perfect score. Oh, shush! Alright, final exam for battle studies. It's finally game day. Today is our final exam. Time to put those game faces on, aces, and do put on your game faces and do battle with those test sheets. Which cheer boosts attack and special attack for all allies during a terror raid? Golo out, Golo in, go out we go. Go all out. What do we call battles that Pokemon sent out with the R button do on their own? You could do it battles, auto battles. How should you attain LP? Taking on gyms, exchanging materials, hack the system. Exchange materials. High level Pokemon are adjusted to what level when using flat rolls in link battles? They will be adjusted to level 50. When using normal rules in link battles, you can use multiple Pokemon under the same species and multiple of the same held item. This is true. Time's up. Put your pencils down. I saw you giving it everything you got. I'm sure you all got perfect scores. You all did so well in my class. If you pass this test, you will officially be battle masters. Now go ask for your surely stellar scores at the front desk, you little rascals. It feels great to get a test, so let's see what we get. 5 out of 5. Alright, time for art. Hello, class. It is I, Hassel, yet again. My, how time flies, as they say. Indeed, our time together has certainly flown by. It's hard to believe that this is our final class. Now, our topics for today may feel somewhat unrelated to art, but there is absolutely no definition as what art should be. Therefore, let us carry on with the discussion and see where it takes us. There are two things I wish to focus on today: ribbons and marks. Both ribbons and marks are special honors that are capable of a Pokemon's qualities. There will be times when your Pokemon gives a maximum effort or has a noteworthy experience. In recognition of its feat and accomplishments, it can be given a ribbon. To give an example, if you manage to become incredibly close to a Pokemon, it may be granted the Best Friends ribbon. Additionally, there is a person in Casarapa who can give your Pokemon a Best Friend ribbon. Marks, on the other hand, are mostly found on wild Pokemon when you meet them for the first time. They can symbolize the character of a Pokemon, such as with the Rowdy mark or the Vulgar mark. It's completely up to luck whether you run into a Pokemon with these marks. So if you're able to catch a Pokemon with a mark, rejoice at your outstanding fortune. Does anyone know what special thing you could do with Pokemon that have ribbons or marks? With them, you can change their title. Wonderful! Viridion, your knowledge is impressive. The correct answer is that Pokemon with ribbons or marks can be given titles. Once more, or they can be sent to the battle displaying the title of your choosing. For example, you could send out a Gibble with the Best Friend ribbon by declaring, "Go Gibble, the great friend!" And while I know I just said that marks are generally found on Pokemon when you meet them for the first time, there seems that more recently, Pokemon can be awarded certain marks based on their efforts. These are marks such as the Gourmet mark, and the Item Finder mark, and the Partner mark, and so on. Perhaps it might be fun to try to work out how to get each mark using its name as a clue. Well, that just about wraps up our class. Next is the final exam. Please review our material closely so you can pass on your first try. Let's take on art. Art final. I do hope you're all ready because it's time for your final exam. Focus and do your best. And begin! What is the name of the restaurant where you can change the Pokemon stereotype? That is the Treasure Eatery. Treasure Trove. What is the name of Brass's signature art installation that we discussed in class? That would be the Surrendering Sunflora. How many waterfalls are counted among the 10 sites of Paldea? That would be 2. Where can you find the Million Bolt Skyline? Lavincia? The marks of the Pokemon has present when you first meet and none can be added later. That is false. Time's up! That's it for today's test. Pencils down, please. Thank you all so much for learning about art with me. The time we shared has left a mark that I will treasure, I promise you. And it is my sincere wish that all of you who go on to even greater and more prosperous futures. And that's that. Good work, everyone. You can receive your results from the front desk. Let's see our results. Get our candies, and now time for our final class. Let's go to home ec. Put your phones away, it is time to begin our last class together. Home economics is a study of life's necessities. But looking back on our time together, I realize that I focus mostly entirely on food. I hope it's not too late to shift to a discussion of clothing, another necessary in our last class. As I'm sure you are aware, our academy has an air of freedom about it. We provide uniforms for each season to accommodate the diverse climate of Paldea. However, students are free to wear whichever style they wish whenever they please. You should all have received 4 sets of tops and bottoms, 1 each for spring, summer, fall, and winter, when the academy accepted you. If by chance you were not aware of this, may a wish to peruse your wardrobe. As long as you wear our school uniform, the rest of your ensemble need not be school issued. This includes your bag, your hat, if you choose to wear one, and you are even free to style your hair however you wish. Mr. Salvador's hair, for example, would most certainly have been against school rules when I was a boy. That reminds me, there's one more thing I all like you to decorate, which I must say I find quite charming. Our Rotom phones? Perfectly correct! That adorable little thing I was speaking of. Oh, it interests me so! I must admit that I am fascinated by Rotom phones and how to customize them. What was that? How very intriguing! So there's a shop called Deliver Presents where you can purchase cases for your Rotom phones. I thank you for that useful bit of information. I shall go myself first thing tomorrow to get an adorable case of my own liking. Forgive me, I seem to have got a little carried away with this small talk. As this class knows, as home economics nears its end, I offer these final words to you who have been honing everyday life skills with me. My field of study is not so decisive as the likes of mathematics, for instance, where our test scores might play a part in deciding your future. However, as you go on to cook for yourselves, take care of your Pokemon, and decide what to wear in the morning when you awaken, I would be honored if you have taught yourselves to smoothen out and enrich your lives, even if only a little. The sentiment was imparted to me by Mr. Hassel and his particular outlook on such matters. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart, seeing this class through to the end. Our time together has come to a close for today. Prepare to do your best on our final exam. Let's do home economics final exam. Time has come to test how well you've all learned in my class. Let's begin before the information simmering in your brains from last-minute cram sessions fades away. Which of the following meal powers make it easier to come across shiny Pokemon? That will be Sparkling Power. Which of these following is not an effect of Egg Power? That would be Help Hatch Strong Pokemon. What is the simple yet important tactic for increasing the effectiveness of meal powers? Make food with others. What is the correct action to take when your adorable Pokemon become dirty? Pokemon Wish, Pokemon Dash. Sure, people don't want to play that. Pokemon Wash. This question is about Academy rules. Should you change your uniforms, tops and bottoms to properly match the season? It doesn't matter. The time for answering questions has come to an end. Please stop writing. I made the questions a little easier than I do plan to, as a way of saying thank you for informing me about the Rotom phone cases. I entrust you all gave this exam everything you had, so that you would not have to retake it. Please remember to ask for your scores at the front desk before leaving for the day. So let's see our scores. We pass. Now, of course, before we end, let's go and meet all our teachers. I have this for you from Director Clairvoyant. For completing all your classes, you get 5 large candies. Now you can focus all your efforts on this year's treasure hunt. Be careful out there. So let's see all our teachers. Let's go to the school store. Oh, new kid! You here to do a little shopping? Yep, I'm here to shop. The school store is a nice place. They got everything you need right here. I'm here to check out the sandwiches they got for sale. The school store sandwiches taste great and have an excellent nutritional balance too. What happened to your intense training? I guess I'm just not used to it yet. All that training kind of wore me out. I achieved my goal anyway, so I'm gonna take a break from sandwich making for a bit. Oh right, I didn't tell you what my goal was. I wanted to pay Nurse Miriam back for everything she does for me. It was my way of saying thanks. She's so nice and so skilled at what she does. I really look up to her. I wanted to try sandwich making so I could be skilled at doing something for other people, like she is, but I guess I just wasn't cut out for it. What I am cut out for, though, is being full of energy, so I decided to focus on that instead. Like I said in class, I think people in Pokemon should make their stronger points stronger. You really helped me out, new kid. Take this as my way of saying thanks. She'll give us 10 bottles of protein. Alright then, what should I go with today to get my protein in? Let's go see the next teacher. In the art room. Why, hello there, Viridion. You always seem to appear at the most critical of moments. Or crucial, I mean. The most crucial of moments? Well, you see... Master Hassel, I'm here to collect you. So I see. I'm glad that you finally made up your mind about taking your place as leader of the family. Well, it is indeed true that I have made up my mind. I have made up my mind to continue teaching here at the academy. How could you? Are you saying you don't care what happens to our proud lineage? I am saying I have other priorities. Have a look around the art decorating this room, would you? The children here are letting their senses and perceptiveness grow freely. I do not wish to say that protecting our family's ancient bloodline is of no importance. I simply wish to see the young talent blossom and grow into the future. It just seems so much more fun to me, if I am being honest. What other nonsense! And yet, your fearlessness, unflinching commitment to that nonsensical vision proves that you are worthy of carrying the will of the dragons, Master Hassel. I will not give up. I will come as many times as I need in order to change your mind. Oh, by all means, my door is open. I think you will soon find that you will meet your match in stubbornness. You thought I could be corralled by some story spun up by my father's deteriorating health? I am not so easily fooled. I will return another day. I'm sorry you had to see all that. I was very close to resigning my post as teacher and returning to my home. But the students here gave me courage to say no. That includes you, Fruition. Your words truly brought me strength. I cannot think of a way I could possibly repay my debt to you, young ones. Take this, if you will, insignificant as it may be, expressing the full breadth of my gratitude. He'll give us 50 dragon shards. Now then, let it be clear to all. I, Hassel, will continue my chosen path as instructor to the youths of our world. Alright, so let's go to the next teacher in home economics. This one we won't be able to complete for a little while. Master Feridion, about the matter in which I need your help. I've discovered the name of the incredible sweet condiment. It is called Sweet Herba Mystica. If you should find it during the course of your treasure hunt, I would be grateful if you could share some with me. So that is not going to be done for a while because you need to do, I believe it's a 5-star or up raids in order to get those. My dear Feridion, Pomai here seems healthy as he can be. Well, it seems being quiet is simply a part of this one's personality. But it's hard for a Pokemon to communicate with its fellows without speaking up. As you know, wild Pokemon use their cries to tell each other all sorts of things, like the location of food or whether there are predators nearby. So even if I were to release it back into the wild, I'm afraid it may not be able to do those sort of things. What do you think, Feridion? Where does Pomai belong? With you, Mr. Saboteur? Oh, I didn't expect to hear Mon, my name. So you think it should stay here, with me? I was so focused on getting it back to good health so it could return to the wild that I didn't even consider that possibility. What do you think about that idea, my little Pomai friend? Pomai! It spoke at last! Even without speaking Pokemon language myself, I know that reply means yes! Oh, my dear Feridion, Meridachi so very, very much for all of your help with Pomai. All the more reason you should have this. Here, a rare Pokemon for you to raise. We get a Meowth. But this is no ordinary Meowth. Ah, I am so happy. Yes, I, Salvatore, will take it upon it myself to look after this Pomai for good. I will indeed. So if you go to your boxes, because I said that Meowth was not a normal one, he will give you the Galarian variant of Meowth. So you can be able to train this up to get Berserker. So yeah, there's currently, schoolyard. And then there's our history teacher. Where is our math teacher? She should be somewhere around here. There she is. Feridion, Help me keep an eye out, would you? I set up a little ambush here for that girl who keeps watching me. She'll be here any minute, any second.
An ambush?
Well, you see, it's not very pleasant knowing she's just staring at me all the time. And now I know what she looks like after seeing her in the cafeteria. Ah! It's you, isn't it? You're the one who's been secretly watching me recently. Time? How did you know I guess you must have noticed me. I'm so sorry. Well, of course I noticed. You were watching me practically all day, every day, after all. I assume there's something you want to ask me? Yes, I do. I've been a huge fan of yours since your time as a gym leader, and I love Rock-type moves so very much. Oh my. But you just suddenly retired from your post as gym leader a year and a half ago. Why did you quit? My goodness, is that all you wanted to ask? Yes, your reasoning for retiring was never made public. But it's well known among the students here that you just avoid the question anytime it's asked. I thought it would be rude to ask you a question that you didn't want to answer, so I just couldn't find the courage to ask. So that's why you were felt so intense. I see. Forgive me. So very intense? Never mind that. As for the reason why I quit my job as gym leader, I simply wanted to focus my job as a teacher. It's not that I dislike being a gym leader or anything of that sort. Quite the contrary. Talking about the gyms fills me with the feelings of nostalgia and sadness. That's why I always avoid answering the question when students ask. Oh, I see. Do you have any plans of becoming a gym leader again? No, I'm afraid I don't plan to do so. My sister is doing a splendid job as gym leader in my stead. I personally find being a teacher the most enjoyable these days. But since I am, in fact, your teacher, I would appreciate if you would call me Miss Time, as the students do, and not just Time. Okay, I'm sad to hear that, but I understand. Thank you so much, Miss Time. Well, I suppose that solves the mystery. That made me so nervous. I said so many things to try and sound cool. I was certainly a little scared when I felt that girl's intense gaze on me, but having you here with me allowed me to do what was needed to be done, to face what turned out to be one of my biggest fans. I must thank you for always showing up at the right time, Viridion. Allow me to show you my appreciation a little. I hope these will help you on your adventure. So she'll give us 50 Rock Terror Shards. Now let's go see our history teacher before ending things off. Viridion, the time has come. The cursed treasures, the 4 Pokémon of Ruin. They exist! And I stumbled upon the truth in a newspaper of all places. Ha! An interview piece with a carpenter, no less. The Pokémon wielders apparently use sacred stakes to seal these treasures of ruins and shrines. There is a separate shrine for each of the 4 Pokémon, and the 8 stakes driven into the ground in these areas surround each shrine, keep the power of ruin at bay. So here's what they look like. In other words, if all the eggs for a given shrine were to be removed, it would release the Pokemon held inside! Don't you think it would be nice to free those Pokemon from the confines of their tiny little shrines, Viridion? Yes! Heh, a kind soul, I see. You are proving truly useful. According to a descendant of the Pokemon wielders in the story, you must have a bond with a Pokemon in order to remove the stakes. I'm sure someone as Pokemon savvy as yourself would have no trouble at all with that. You could choose for yourself whether to believe in me or not. I will mark the locations of these shrines on your map. I do rather go myself, of course, but skipping out on my classes to go adventuring seems to have made the director a little suspicious of me. Heh, you could think of it as part of your treasure hunt. Treasures of ruins are still treasures after all. I hope you will investigate these shrines if you are inclined to do so. You are trusted by Miss Rothfront. So with that, if you check your map, she will have the locations marked to them. You can fly to them if you visit them. But anyway, we will end the episode off here, and the next episode, we'll make our way to our next destination. If you enjoyed this episode, do you like the videos? It helps tremendously. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below on your thoughts this episode. And share the video so that way more people can discover my content and help the channel grow. And I'll see you all in the next episode. Later.